In the way of the world, every day something is added. In the way of the Tao, every day something is taken away. When the ear beholds only the light of the ear, and the eye beholds only the light of the eye, by sitting quietly and facing northward, by sitting quietly and facing southward, one may view the bright North Star. Oh, hello. I'm some guy in a bomb shelter. I made this short video to tell you about Nonthink. It sounds Orwellian, I know. It's a word I made up to describe something that's been described as words that I don't think are very good for it. Like wu-wei. It means complete inaction. It's been used wrongly to describe laissez-faire economics. It's been used to mean complete passivity. It's been used to mean putting yourself in power and then not really doing anything and drawing a check. And that's not really what that's about. Sentarse sin nada sounds like you just don't have a chair. Meditation has been used historically to mean thinking hard about something, concentrating on it, picking it apart, using your brain a lot. That's also the opposite of what I mean when I talk about Nonthink. I read an old book that called it Sitting Forgetting. That was the translation anyway. I kind of like that one. But you're not really forgetting anything when you do this. Nonthink is the most stripped down and simplified meditation practice you can have, because the parts that may or may not work or have specific applications in a Kriya, Nidan, Pranayama, whatever, those are not in it. The things that are specific to an ism, a body of knowledge, a system of belief, that's not there either. Nonthink is a way for you to do really nothing and achieve profoundly moving and healthy results, and to learn things that can strengthen everything else you do, whether it's saying the rosary or appealing to the elder gods, looking at the North Star by facing southward. It's good for pretty much anything. Any meditation practice you do will be strengthened if you get good at Nonthink. The thinking that you do during the day, your mental processes, your engineering problems, those will be strengthened too. The hierarchy of parts of yourself can be straightened out, like in Tao Te Ching. The sage is enthroned. That means the real you is in charge of you, not your brain, not your body, not your thoughts, not your feelings. The conscious thing that is the closest thing you can have to a true core identity, that's going to be in charge. And that's the part of you you're coming from when you say, okay, brain, you take a break. That's what Nonthink is. You're not thinking. Whatever your favorite meditation posture is, do that first. I like to sit half lotus with my left leg under my right and do this funny old Taoist thing that I talked about in the other videos. I get my back straight, my chin is a little tucked. On the first exhale, I relax my body. Certain parts of my body will have a little tension in them, or my posture will be funny. On one of my exhales, I just imagine those things melting and relaxing. And you can do that the same with your brain. You can imagine your brain is like one of those muscles you find tension in. On one of your exhales, get it to relax. If it panics and says, wait, did I leave the oven on? You can do that later. Earplugs are nice, but the core practice of non-think is to actually not think. Your mind's not doing anything. It's not taking up energy. It's not thinking of what to do next. It's not thinking of what happened before. And it's not thinking of the ism or the practice. And you don't want to let it say, okay, this is how you do this. You don't want to let your mind go, here's the profound experience you're about to have if you do this right. You don't want to let it go, wait, am I doing this right? That's why it's useful to strip it down to something so insanely simple. You can really just trust that your mind is not needed right now. You can tell it to take a break. I like to close my eyes, connect the red mind, the do mind, like I talked about in the other videos. Keep my breath low, chest a little sunk. And there's pretty much nothing that I see when I close my eyes. If there's light effects, circulation stuff, sometimes you will see things with your eyes closed. Look past it, ignore it. If you try to put meaning to those things, that's yet another dodge the mind uses to say, oh, I have to mind right now. It doesn't. You just let it go. By relaxing the mind, you teach it that the real you is the proper authority of your being. By giving yourself about an incense stick of time a day, more if you like, less if you like, to not think about anything at all, or to try for that long, and maybe just get little blips here and there, whatever. By doing that, you teach your mind that it's not you, and that it's not the ruler of your being, that it is in fact a tool for you to use for what you feel like. This can help you achieve freedom, personal sovereignty, and better control over the considerable faculties that creation has blessed you with. Brain is great. I grew up around some people who talked about the mind as some kind of devil there to screw you up and ensnare you. In a lot of the old Taoist books I read, they call it the mud ball cavity. Like, oh, the brain's mostly fat, you don't really need it. But the brain is a good thing. It's for you to use. Too much in our culture and in our society and in just the way that human beings all naturally are, we think the brain is us. The brain is the seat of our consciousness. The brain, the biochemical things in the brain is really what there is. Everything else depends on that. But objective reality, in fact, does exist without a brain. And I think time exists without conscious observers. That's a discussion for another time. That's my brain doing a dodge, going, we need to think about this. We need to work it out. We need to figure out how this works. Then we can get everything we want. We can fulfill our outer desires. Then we'll be happy. Blah, blah, blah. It just goes and goes and goes. And if you're on a city bus with people around you who are screaming and on fire, and you want no distractions, and you go to a mountaintop in the Himalayas, the things that you really need to work through to get good non-think, you will take with you. You're never without it. It's just the mind trying to be the mind. But you can get it to relax once in a while. You can get it to take a break. You will still exist when you're almost not conscious at all. In fact, you will be more functional. Try not to think of some experience you're supposed to have. Try not to think of it as work. Try not to think of it as complete and utter passivity. Try not to think of anything at all. Try not to try. Because trying is not really non-think. And working hard at something is not really non-think. When you do it well, you have no expectations, you expend almost no effort, and it's kind of enjoyable. If you use an incense stick to time yourself, then you don't really have to pay attention much. And you don't have to have your phone with you, which is nice. If you have your phone with you, it's going to distract you. It's going to try and get your attention. In Buddhism, there's a saying that the beginner student has to chop wood and carry water. And when you achieve the highest levels of training and become an enlightened master, then what you do is chop wood and carry water. Nonthink is a little like that. It's useful for everyone, all the time, in any culture, in any ism, any problem, any solution, any modality, any other practice that you do for self-work. Nonthink helps all these things in tandem, at the same time, before or after, doesn't matter. But if you get good at Nonthink, any other meditation practice you do can be more rewarding and work better. The best part to me is not during the practice, which is often very pleasurable, surprisingly, but afterwards during the day, when you go, wow, I'm actually kind of seeing things differently. Am I smarter? Am I dumber? Am I both? Is that good? Seems nice. Wait, did everyone get better looking? Why is everyone nice to me? Interesting. You might have nothing or different things, but try not to expect any specific thing. That always helps. The best part about not thinking is that it puts the real you in charge of your being. And sometimes you can see the real you, your true core self, not your brain. You can see your true core self for what it is. And the thing that's in me that gives my life meaning and value is also in everyone else. Good people, bad people, fat, skinny, rich, poor, doesn't matter. It's in the animals. It's probably in the rocks and trees. So, no one is above or below you. What are you going to do with that? With that direct knowledge, are you now going to be a racist, classist? Will you harm people? Probably not. I hope you get a lot of pleasure out of this. Not the kind of pleasure we're used to, but the underlying goodness that's already there. And it's funny, all the good and bad things that happen during our lives, the ostensibly good and bad things that could happen right now and experiences we could have. We think when there is no joy and there's no sadness and there is no nothing, if you strip all that away, one would think that you're at some baseline where it's very boring and you're not feeling anything. But that's not my experience. In my experience, when we get rid of all that stuff, it's actually quite blissful. If you stripped everything away, the thing that's at the core is not neutral and it's not nothing, even though it seems like it would be. And in some ways it is nothing, but within that nothingness, Gungu Gap, there's a light, something like a light. And it's quite beautiful and moving, and I could talk about it for hours without saying anything useful at all. It's the kind of thing one must experience, or experience nothing. There's value in that. So, I hope that my odd, rambling description is useful for you, and I hope that many of you will just try 40 minutes a day, an incense stick, of sitting, closing your eyes, relaxing the body, and not thinking. If you try it for 8 hours straight and you get 10 seconds of real non-think out of it, that 10 seconds means something. It's beautiful. It's good for us. Also, if you go anywhere near that long, your legs will fall asleep probably. And here's a bonus exercise for you. Straighten out your legs, move your knees, get your knuckles, tap on the outside of your legs. Do it gently at first. You know, if your legs are really asleep, it kind of hurts. Eventually your circulation will return. Then you can do some stretches, walk around a bit. Really, I think 40 minutes a day is fine. Or an incense stick, which is anywhere between like 30 minutes and an hour and a half. Do you meditate? I think she's meditating right now. Thanks. Have fun with it. And be happy. Sort of.